We're at Coast Auto Care, and they just hooked up the alignment finally, so I can actually drive it without burning up my tires, because I can already see from the couple days that I was driving it that the tires are going sideways. Check him out. There you go. That's George. He hooked it up. All right. Yeah, because you know the notch needed some work. Right. This here's a Ford Tech. All right. So we are located at PCH and Atlantic in Long Beach. So for all y'all who are in Long Beach, make sure you come through. All right. This dude's solid. So I'm gonna go out to Mustang Phil, and he's gonna hook me up, man, with a torque arm. So I don't know how I'm gonna get it in this car, but I'm gonna get it in. All right, so we're in the notch, headed out to see Mr. Mustang Phil. You know, he's about an hour and a half away from me, so I get to like stretch the legs on the car a little bit. This is as far as I've taken it. New alternator, you know, the 3G alternator. It's got the new battery. Got the alignment done. Got new struts on the front from Mr. Kent. You know, got the control arms, all that good stuff. And it feels really good, real solid on the road, you know? So, we're going to look for a Maximum Motorsports torque arm. And that will mean, this will pretty much mean that I have complete Maximum Motorsports suspension on Project Mayhem. Not giving me any issues at all. There's a good little motor in that red convertible. For real. Look at that. Beautiful mountain skate. Clouds is kind of peeking over the top. It's tight. So we have made it out here to Mr. Mustang Phil's place. I don't know where he's at though. Philip! I'm way out in the boonies. So what's up?
What's up, dude?
That's Mustang Phil.
Heck yeah, baby.
Finally getting out to his end of the world, you know what I'm saying? So
out of LA County, baby.
I know, man.
In the Inland Empire.
Yeah, IE. Came a long way. No Corona. You know what I'm saying?
Heck
I
yeah.
actually passed Corona to get out here, but that's a whole nother story.
That's exactly another story.
There's a torque arm right there. There goes my baby. Yeah, it's a heavy duty torque arm. LTD, the wagon. This is kind of hard actually. Got for the whole family. Got a Foxbody frame on it. Isn't that crazy? Foxbody guts. All the same mods you do to your Fox, you can do to this wagon. The LT, look at this straight 6.
Inline 6, baby. Single barrel carburetor.
Damn, they were still running these in 83.
83, dude. We're still carbureted, bro.
Look, he's got a 5-lug swap SVT in the look at that, drill is slotted. Dual piston calipers. Where did you get those from? Off like a 99?
99.
Yep. How does that feel?
5
How does that feel to you? Like, is it actually worth it?
Oh, way worth it. It stops on a dime and gives you freaking 9.5 cents change, bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't even, in this particular car, because it's still drum, I didn't have to change the master cylinder yet. When you go disc, you got to change the master cylinder.
Right. The reason why I'm asking is because I was like, Cobra, people always like, oh, go Cobra. And I'm like, aren't the 99?
No, I'm going to go Cobra setup on it.
Right.
With the disc brake rear, but the rear disc brake is going to be the 10-inch. I'll put the 94, 95 master cylinder like on this parts car here on it. Call it a day.
Now, you may be able to answer this question I've always been wanting to know, right? Mm-hmm. And I could never figure out the theory. So, you know how guys will change it and they put a proportioning valve right here?
Yes, that'll need to be done when it goes to disc brake.
To disc brake. Now, why would you have to do that if you were to take the SN95 master cylinder proportioning valve, the actual original?
Yeah, if you take the valve itself, it still doesn't have enough correct bias to give it enough pressure.
Right.
So you'll find is the front end will dive and the back end's not doing
anything.
Not doing jack.
Why is that? When it's in the SN95, it's okay, but when you put it in our cars,
when you put it, because the SN95s have that ABS actuator that's electronically controlled, which is right here on the front frame rail.
ABS actuator.
So that's why you can't. That's why you have to have the adjustable line, because that does the job of the adjustable line, and it's all done by the computer, the CCRM, and everything.
You see that?
So
okay.
Even though it's OBD1, it's still got some computer shit that just started out. So that's why.
And what year is this?
94.
94. So, hey Don, I don't know if you still need those parts, man, but I'm gonna ask Phil right now.
Yeah.
And if you still need them, man, let me know and I'll ask him his price and get back to you, bro. All right? I hope you're watching.
Heck yeah.
So check it out, we back in the doghouse, and yeah, it's been a pretty rough 2 weeks. If you guys all heard it, there's folks out here getting sick from a real strong cold. So yeah, it's not really much I could do, but that's not true. I went to Facebook Marketplace and Amazon's still kicking. So I was able to get a few things, and there's still a couple little things I'm missing. I wanted to get back on the fuel system. So that is a huge issue. So I ran into a problem, and let me stop talking about it and let me just show y'all. These are the fuel rails that I got. Problem is that these things are really worn. I didn't really know until I decided to put some pressure to these things, man. So basically, when you put pressure through this, it's squirting fuel all out of these because the AN fittings for the pipe thread is bottomed out. It's supposed to be tapered, and it's bottomed out. It's jacked up. I had to get some other rails. Now, I went to go look at some rails, and goddamn, they're expensive. Okay. So I was looking around on Facebook Marketplace, and I found these, okay? These are ProFlow fuel rails from Edelbrock, right? Now here's the crazy thing. These are not for a Ford, these are for an LS, okay? The mounts are different, the angle is different. See, so apparently for the LS, they're facing this way. If you can see, they're facing this way, and on the Ford, they're facing that way. So I'm gonna see if I could turn these around, and the Edelbrock won't be shown anymore, but who cares, you know? As long as it works. It's about the functionality, not the name, right? So I'm thinking to maybe get it going like this. Looks pretty similar. There's only one way to find out. You're maybe wondering, why am I going with these? All the diagrams for the top fuel guys that I've seen, because I started doing research on it because I'm not familiar, I don't know much about it. It comes from the side where the fuel line normally comes from on the Foxbody, and it comes up to a Y block, and it splits and it goes into both sides of the rail at the same time. So it's equalized. And then it goes out the back, and then it goes from the back of the fuel rails into a regulator. So the pressure is built up here and released by the regulator at the back. So there's one return, and the feed goes in both sides of the regulator and it goes down. I was like, yo, I can't do that with this. This doesn't have a hole here at the end, and then it's got a hole here in the middle, right? So it was almost like it was set up for like a stock Fox setup a little bit, you know, and I went ahead and put that little hose back there, but that was, you know, I was just jacking around. That didn't work out the way I wanted to either. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like the two 90-degree angles are just too tight. And I just don't like the way that looks. Now I know what you're thinking. How dare he put LS parts on a Ford? Well, you about to be in for a whole world of hurt. Got it off. So let's see if this can be switched around with the LS. As you can see, the holes are identical between the Ford and the LS. So letting you know, guys, the Ford and the LS, the only difference is mounting, right? So I know there's gonna be some dudes who are gonna be like, no, you know. I'm thinking because that's in the car that it might be a little bit more difficult to see, because I gotta lean over the front of the car to really get it accurate. So I do have like a clean GT40 lower that I can use to mock this up before I bolt it all in. Let's go grab that. I'll chop this in the grill. Anyway, so this is the GT40 intake that I'm actually going to be sending out to one of the wonderful guys who support junkyarddogs.com. I really appreciate you. So I'm glad to have this in here so I can use this as a mock-up for my modified LS fuel rails. And I got these for $100 You know, guy was selling them, they're brand new. He's like, ah, screw it, let's just get rid of them. This is that side. And it goes in without incident. It's not like I'm jamming it or forcing it or making it go all awkward or nothing. It literally just goes right in. And you can kind of see back here, this is the little tab, right? That holds it on. So what I was gonna do is kind of mount the tab here, and you can still access it, which is pretty tight. It's real tight. It's almost like you gotta put it in first, or maybe even shorten the bolt. Because I noticed that to put these in, this flange here on the bolt doesn't pass the rail. Yeah, it literally bolts right exactly where it says Edelbrock. Essentially, these would kind of get low-key ruined. I won't be destroying these. I'm gonna use the original mount holes, and there's a mount hole, as you can see, there's one right here. Right there, and then there's one on the back. I'm gonna use those and most likely put like a socket head bolt through there, make an adapter plate. So it looks like what I'm gonna have to do is make it to where these parts, these bolts under here bolt in first, because it can't clear this. I mean, I could destroy these and do that, but I'm trying to avoid from destroying them. So it literally needs to come out about that much to not only be straight but also clear my bar here. So I got some scrap pieces of stock back there that I'm going to stick in between and see if I can make that work. Alright, so I got this 1/4 inch aluminum. So I'm gonna use some cardboard and draw like a little cardboard template as to how they're gonna meet up. Okay, so we got this hole right here. And then back of the bracket, I'll go to around here. So that's the shape that I kind of came up with. Let's cut it out and see if it works on the other side. So we're on to the next day now. Had to take a break to get a few things. A tap, 1032 tap for these little socket head bolts. I replaced the original flanged bolt, and I'm gonna replace it with a socket head bolt with a washer. That way we can get past the rail and still have that surface area for the clamp. Alright, so I have it all crudely drawn out, as you can see here. Alright. Trying to maximize the scrap material as much as I can. So I got one cut out there, one there, one here, and then one there. So a lot of guys would throw this away. I do not. Let's go. We have our little pieces here, our adapter plates. So what I did was I left this part here at the upper, as you can see, this part for the Edelbrock hole, and I'm gonna drill 2 smaller holes down here for the mount to the forward intake. Thing is with this, I cut a little relief there for the washer so that it's able to sit flat against the rail. Different lengths for all the connections. I don't know guys, if this works out, might turn into a kit. I'm gonna cover them with Dykem and then do these holes first. I'm gonna mark it, drill it. This bolt's not gonna stay there guys. I'm gonna use a socket head, but I don't have any right now. So I got the first little bracket in there, and it's in there. I mean, I got it to do what it do. I used a 5/16 18. We're still not out the hot water yet. So what I did to transfer these measurements for these little brackets here was I bolted them in, and then I put Dykem on the back here. And so what I'm gonna do is, once again, hold it on with the clamp, drill it, tap this hole first, bolt it in like that, and then trace the outside of the bracket, and then clamp it to this, and then drill the holes, and then tap them. That's how I did it. Drilled and tapped this 5/16 18. Now I did have to modify these a little bit. I had to open these holes up. They were 262 thou, and I opened it up to 305. So I can get a 5/16 18 bolt to slide through. Still tight, but I had to get the slide through. All right, see, right in there. So I'm gonna take this, draw like an outline because I can't get the holes. So I'm gonna draw an outline best I can, right? Take this bolt back out. See? Alright, so I'm gonna match that bracket up with that and then drill some holes. Okay, so the bracket's off. And you're gonna match it just like that. I know the top was right at the top. Just like that, right? So you see how it sticks out at the back. Not a big deal. I'm gonna figure that out. Alright, so you see I took the flat disc and took it down in the back here. So what I'm gonna do is remove the bolts, deburr the ends of the bolts here, and then I'm gonna smooth out this area here so it's like more round, so the washer can fit more flush. So here's the last of the little brackets of the LS302 adapter brackets. Ought not even exist, but they do. So I'm gonna give you guys a look without the rails. Basically what I did, so I got these little brackets here to reach out and grab the LS fuel rail. If you think that I should sell these little brackets as a kit, let me know. See if we can make something happen. So boom, there they are on Mayhem. And they are on there. Like I said, I'm not gonna be using these bolts. I'm gonna use some socket head style. But yeah, it'll give me the clearance I need, especially for this injector plug, you know. But coolant temp sensor clears, ACT clears. So I noticed something pretty interesting on the AN fittings that are in these rails, is that they didn't have Teflon tape, they had anaerobic sealant, which I thought was kind of interesting. I said, well, technically it would do the same thing, I just never thought of using it, man. So I'm gonna try to do what they did. He's like, that anaerobic, man, he said once it gets in there, fills up all the gap in the threads, which is what the Teflon's supposed to do, you know? Permatex actually says this will fill up to 50 thou of a gap. So I'm gonna use it on the supercharger mounting surface too after I get it machined. I'm gonna go too tight. This rail is brand new, so the pipe thread is really fresh versus the one that I just had. So it's tightening up already, and I haven't even got it. All right, I don't wanna go too tight, mess around and strip it, you know what I'm saying? So we don't wanna do that. But when they're fresh, when rails are fresh like this, you know, especially with a pipe thread, it shouldn't go all the way in and bottom out. You know, because pipe threads are tapered, so it shouldn't go in. That's what was happening with the other one. It was going in and bottoming out. And I was just like, I didn't feel too comfortable about that. Fuel rail is in. The regulator. I was thinking about putting it here, but then it's over the exhaust. So before I mount this, I even think about mounting this, let me know in the comments where you think I should mount it. Okay, so last time I talked about figuring out this fuel pump so that I could put in the tank and get around that issue. One of the tanks that I had in here, when I took it out, I took the pump out. This was the one out, the 4-cylinder, didn't work. It wasn't pumping. And then I took this pump out of another tank that I had, somebody had did couple little performance things too, I guess. And I noticed immediately that this was bigger. I mean, it's bigger by at least half an inch. It's actually the exact same size as my AEM pump. Actually, my AEM's is slightly bigger. There's a possibility that I might have come up on a 255, but there's no markings on this, so there's no way for me to really tell if I came up on a 255 pump, because you know the pump in my notchback is there's something wrong with the fuel pressure in the notchback. Like when I try to punch it, it doesn't like it. It starts to sputter and act weird and jerk. It's got a new TPS. It's got a new eye layer control. I'm gonna change O2 sensors because I had new ones on my convertible and then I swapped them over. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. So we'll figure it out. So the way that they had this, it was just sitting like this. Like just sitting there, like, and I'm like, no rubber, no isolator, nothing, right? So I was about to like dig into this thing and like cut it and redo all this. Man, all I know is that as long as the fuel line isn't pinched, that I can kind of at least get that rubber in there. I think I should be able to get that rubber in there. First, I'm gonna go ahead and put this little jacket it's got. See, all of them that I see they bend like this, but this one looks like it's gonna kink. First issue that I noticed immediately is that the hose is pinching, man. So that's not supposed to be. And this is the hose that they gave with the AEM pump. I'm not gonna use it because the one that was with the 255 that I have is a molded hose with looks like a steel on the inside. I don't know if you can see that or not, but can you see in the inside there? There's like some piece of steel in there to stop it from kinking. That tells me that this hose is not gonna work. I mean, it is new, but new doesn't always equal good. Was able to take care of quite a few things today with just other stuff around the shop, man. I got like a lot going on, so I'm reorganizing the shop, pulling all this old stuff off the shelves, throwing stuff away, putting stuff on the website. Peace to everybody who's been using junkyarddogs.com. I really appreciate it. We got the LS fuel rails on there. So there's a few little things that I need to get to kind of complete the system. So A, I need a Y block. B, I need to cut out the subframe connectors to get the fuel line in the rest of the way because I'm using a hard line. I could use a soft line, but I kind of prefer to use a hard line. You know, just they take a lot more abuse in my opinion, and if they lasted 30 years, I'm pretty sure it'll go another 5 or 6, you know. So check this out. I have some really good news for y'all. I like to try to update it as much as possible, but with this whole pandemic thing going on, I've been having a lot more free time to come to the shop and get busy. I'm going to do 7 days of mayhem. 7 consecutive day after day updates on what's going on with the car and me working on it. I feel that that's a fantastic motivator to get me to get some real progress done on this car, because me tinkering around with it once every 2 weeks has been really hard. And you know, it's because, you know, work and like shipping out stuff for people who order from the site, cleaning parts, going to the junkyard, stuff like that. It's really time consuming. But now that most of everything is shut down, I'll have some time. So 7 days of mayhem, all right? So we out here, man. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Junkyard Doggin.